Hill. First pitch of the ball game to B.J. Upton, and that is at the knees for a strike. 7:08 is the first pitch. 54 degrees. It's one of those nights, huh, Ray? It is cold and windy, maybe not quite as bad as the Boston game, but it's chilly.
Jason Giambi the night off. Fans, the heavier jackets, the heavier green and gold jackets.
Well, usually my partner, it's the fourth or fifth inning, he puts the heavy Comcast Sportsnet jacket on. You put it on at 7:04, 7:05.
I would have put it on or open if I could have. It would definitely be on for the rest of the game.
Yes, indeed. 3-1 the count to Upton with Carl Crawford in the on-deck circle. And that's a walk. Not close with the fifth pitch to Upton. So B.J. Upton is aboard, and that's how this ball game starts.
Steve Henderson, the hitting coach of the Tampa Bay Rays under Joe Madden, the American League Manager of the Year last year. One of the things that this club has improved on is patience at the plate. They've improved their number of pitches seen per batter. And, you know, at one time an aggressive hitting ball club, they have changed. And we saw it with B.J. Upton. Took one strike, 3 balls, and he's a threat to steal.
Way outside to Carl Crawford. The Rays are 6-10 on the year, so a little bit of a slow start. 4-5 on the road, 2-5 at home.
That is him to do with sitting next to Jim Hickey, the pitching coach. But Steve Henderson, one of the clubs he played for was the Green and Gold.
Yeah. 2-0 now to Crawford. I would say he did a pretty good job last year.
He did a great job. Got married after the World Series. Went to Italy for his honeymoon, and as he said, found out he was the American League Manager of the Year as he was standing out on the balcony. And
that's not a bad one. And it was his honeymoon.
It was his honeymoon.
So it's all good.
Yeah.
Well, the Rays, it was if there was ever a Cinderella story, it was the Rays of 2008. They finished the year 97-65. They won the extremely difficult AL East. So now you're thinking, hey, this is what an accomplishment, huh? We win the East, we're going to the postseason. So they beat the White Sox in the Division Series. They beat the Red Sox in the Championship Series, all the way to the World Series, where they lost in 5 games to the Phillies. But they were, you know, we all kind of watched the Rays as the season went on last year. They were kind of the talk of baseball, and they just kept winning and kept winning. Ooh. No strike called. Crawford thought it was ball 4, but he will get another chance to hit. It's a full count now with Upton at first.
Well, Tim Timmons, a home plate umpire, and this is a great call for Kurt Suzuki, or for Trevor Cahill and Suzuki. The fact that it's a low strike.
Upton on the move, and he have to go back as Crawford fouls it back.
A lot of speed at the top of the order. Even Mira was the leadoff hitter, and now Upton, of course, amazing story to hit so few home runs regular season and then just go off the charts in postseason. He and Longoria hitting a lot of home runs.
Upton goes again. This one popped down the left field line. A long run for Holiday, and it's going to drop foul. Well, I think getting Pat Burrell, the big right-handed hitter, really allowed the Rays to make the changes you're talking about, where you could take B.J. Upton, who normally hits second or maybe even 6th or 7th in the order. Well, now you put him at the top because you don't need him to maybe knock in runs so much. Use his speed because you have Pat Burrell hitting 5th. Sliced left field line again. Holiday racing over. He's not going to get it, and it gets by him. Goes into the corner. Upton is going to score easily, and it's a double for Crawford. So Carl Crawford has his 9th RBI of the year and 2 batters into the game. The Rays have a 1-0 lead.
Trevor Cahill's major league debut came in Anaheim. He walked Sean Figgins. He scored, and this is the good 2-seam fastball, but you have to credit Carl Crawford going with the pitch, did not try to roll over and pull it, and trying to hope the ball went foul. Matt Holliday thought he might be able to get to the ball, but he's kind of fortunate it wasn't a triple.
Here's Longoria. Good start for last year's Rookie of the Year. Look at those numbers. 386 average. Already has 16 RBIs and 5 home runs. Crawford, the runner at second, and with him you never know. He'd take off and steal third, and that's why Mark Ellis is spending quite a bit of time holding him on. 2-0 now to Longoria. So Trevor Cahill in some trouble here in the first. We were talking to Kurt Young early in the season. Actually, it was during the exhibition games against the Giants right before the start of the season. And I asked him about Trevor Cahill, and he loves it. He said he's going to be special. I said, what are you concerned about? And he said, throwing strikes. He said, that's a little bit of a concern of mine, because he said sometimes his stuff moves so much. Slowly hit. Crawford is going to get caught in a rundown as he makes a base running mistake, and the A's get the out there. Longoria to second, and he is in there. Just beat the throw.
Carl Crawford, such a fast runner, and it was going to be a foot race with Mark Ellis, and he started chasing him, and then once Xavi got the ball at third, Longoria just kept running. So Longoria is a pitch sequence. First pitch down and away. Second one in the dirt, blocked by Suzuki, which is a good idea. This one up and away. Throws a strike and then gets a ground ball. Good sinker, but good base running also. Not so much by Crawford, although look at the speed. And then Xavi got a little tangled up and could not get the ball cleanly out of his glove to make the throw to second. So Longoria was able to get into scoring position.
So 1 out, and Carlos Pena is the hitter.
Close play, but safe was Longoria, and Cabrera trying to show that he had the ball, which he did, but just a little bit of a late tag.
Pena skies one left side of the diamond. There's that win. Cabrera fights it, and he makes the catch. How about this, Ray? You saw that? Ball was getting pushed toward right field. The flags in left field are blowing the exact opposite direction.
Exactly.
Number 5, Pat Burrow.
So there you go. You think the wind is blowing. Well, now they switched.
Well, yeah,
which tells you can't watch it. They were blowing the exact opposite direction about 30 seconds ago.
Well, just pick up some grass, throw it in the air. But when it blows 4 different directions, you don't have a choice.
Yeah. So 2 outs for Pat Burrow. Burrow sitting in that 5th spot in the Rays lineup. A homer and 6 RBIs in the early going.
Well, the one thing Pat Burrow is having to do is adjust to the DH role. There was some talk about coming over to the American League. He did not want a DH, but I asked him about that tonight, and he said that's untrue. He said he just had not had a lot of success during the interleague play as a DH. So when Charlie Manuel had in the World Series when they played in Tampa, he didn't play him as a DH because he said, let him play the position. Outfield, left field, but so he's and what a player tries to do is talk to as many DHs as possible and try to get their game plan. Stay loose. How do you stay loose? Because if you go to the plate just 4 or 5 times without going to the field, it makes a big difference. But he did say one thing, which is a lot of truth to it. He said, I can't believe how strong his legs are feeling just by hitting. He said, standing in the outfield, running back and forth the outfield, and just go to the plate 4 or 5 times. He said he's never felt better.
Well, there's your prolong the career right there, huh?
Exactly.
Burrow is 32 years old, so he's got a lot of time to play. Got a very good career so far. kind of a love-hate relationship with Pat Burrell in Philadelphia. He was a first overall pick in the draft. Had some real good years. Philly fans expected maybe a little bit more at times. Swing and a miss, struck him out, and Cahill works his way out of the jam. The Rays get a run on Carl Crawford's RBI double. 1-0 Tampa Bay. Come to bat in the bottom of the first. Here's their lineup, brought to you by McDonald's. Ryan Sweeney in center, Orlando Cabrera at short. Nomar back in the DH spot, then Matt Holliday in left, Custon right, Suzuki the catcher, Eric Chavez at third, Mark Ellis at second. Bobby Crosby is in the lineup, and he's playing first base batting ninth. So Ryan Sweeney steps in against Scott Kazmir. In the first pitch outside. Sweeney, Cabrera, and Garcia Parra, the top three hitters in the A's lineup tonight.
Scott Kazmir, his last start against the White Sox, walked the first three batters he faced. Gave up a couple of home runs, one to Quentin, one to Konerko. He is a very good pitcher, there's no doubt. So some of the highlights in are open. Good fastball, more of a slider than a curveball. Of course, he throws a changeup very effectively. Just sure the question in his mind is, how will he react after walking the first three batters in his last start?
Well, there's your answer. He walks Ryan Sweeney. And Crawford, Upton, and Gross is the outfield for the Rays. Longoria, Bartlett, and Uemura Pena are on the infield, and Deanna Navarro is the catcher. Pena won his first Gold Glove last year at first base.
Fourth start for Scott Kazmir. As we mentioned, 6-2 career against the Athletics, a two-time All-Star. His fastball is not as high velocity-wise as it once was. Tops out about 92, but a very good young pitcher. Pitched a lot last year, especially for these pitchers pitching as deep as they did in postseason. That definitely takes an effect, has an effect on him.
It's a good call. He made 5 postseason starts, totaling 25 2/3 innings.
Remember the All-Star game?
That's right.
They were afraid that he was going to have to work too much. And I think he was going to come out of the game regardless, and that's when there was a possibility of either a position player pitching or call the game again. So fortunately, the American League won again and had home field advantage. 2-1
to Orlando Cabrera, and now 3-1.
And Navarro trying to mix them up. He called a breaking ball, got a strike, then threw a changeup, called for a changeup, and it's out of the strike zone.
Breaking pitch catches the outside corner. So the 2 strikes that he has thrown so far in the game have been little sliders that he just dropped in.
Caught the outside corner. Where it started, but good camera work over the top, showing a strike.
Right side, Iwamura has it, and that's the first out. So Kazmir, a little bit wild, but he gets Cabrera, and that'll bring up Nomar Garcia-Parra.
I went through his off-speed pitches, and the last was a 3-2 changeup at 80 miles per hour. Got Cabrera out in front and popped it up.
So Nomar Garcia-Parra last played a week ago tonight. That was in Toronto. He was the designated hitter. It's good to have him back in the lineup, especially against a left-handed pitcher, where one of the many things he has done well in his career is hit lefties. So he's sitting in that 3rd spot as the designated hitter. Mentioned the Rays record coming in. The A's are 5-9 overall. They're 2-4 here at home and 3-5 on the road. And the A's trying to break a 4-game losing streak. Hit hard, just foul.
Back control by Nomar Garcia-Parra on the changeup thrown by Kazmir. That would have been a nice inside the line double, but unfortunately just hooked foul. Jason Chapman not playing. Eric Chavez is, and he was saying that he will not play tomorrow because it's a day game after a night game, so he could have played tomorrow, not tonight. But Bob Garrett wanted him in the lineup tonight, and that's where he is.
Well, this is one of the things that I think Bob Guerin likes about his roster is the fact that he does have some flexibility.
Yeah.
Although if guys are hurt, certainly that takes away from that flexibility. But
who's that young looking guy? He got shaved up, cleaned up.
That's a base hit to right field by Nomar Garcia-Parra. This nice swing went the other way.
Stayed with the changeup, and Garcia-Parra, a very smart hitter, out in front of the previous one, pulled a foul, but stayed back on the next offering. It also a changeup, and just great hitting. Staying with the ball, staying inside, and being happy with the base hit to right field.
2 on, 1 out for Matt Holliday. Ball goes right past Navarro, and that may have been a pass ball.
Should be.
Because he just reached for it. It went right off his glove, and I don't think that ball was in the dirt.
No, it just looked like he did not watch the ball into his mitt, and good break for the A's as they move runners into scoring position. Yeah, it just, let's see where his eyes are, just kind of looking straight ahead, put his glove down, and that's what happened. I've gotten the call, but it should be a pass ball.
You writing it in?
If it's not,
you're going to leave it anyways.
This said wild pitch, didn't it? It said a wild pitch. Wow.
That is not a wild pitch.
That is bad call. That is, I mean, the definition of wild pitch, the ball hits the dirt. I don't care where it hits. If it hits the dirt, it's a wild pitch. But if it doesn't, it's a pass ball. Ball's in the air, and he just missed it. Meanwhile, the A's need to take advantage of it.
Strike right down the middle to Matt Holliday.
But the difference from the ERA standpoint, wild pitch is on the pitcher.
That's right. Good call.
Pass ball is an unearned run, depending on what happens the rest of this half inning.
another strike, and it's 2-2.
Well, he's throwing 2 fastballs for strikes, and you'd have to think he's sitting off speed pitch because Kazmir has thrown so many changeups for strikes in this half inning. But he found his fastball again. That's what a good catcher working with a pitcher will do. Use pitches until he can get his number 1 pitch back, and that's his fastball. There it is, changeup.
So Holiday battling Kazmir. And he's trying to tie it up, maybe take the lead. Big Jack Cust waits in the on-deck circle. Infield is playing back except Carlos Pena at first. So ball to the middle infielder. Holiday fouls it straight back.
Well, Trevor Cahill did a great job after a walk, a double, down 1-0, and that was it. So the A's have a chance to get right back in the game after a great effort by Cahill in top half the inning. And a ground ball will do it, except maybe the Carlos Pena at first or the pitcher.
Popped up. Right field. Gross settles underneath it. He's got it. Sweeney's coming home. The throw to the plate is there, and he is out. So Sweeney thrown out at home on this short pop-up to right field by Matt Holliday, and the A's do not score. 1-0 Rays after 1. The A's got close to scoring, Ray, but pretty good throw, and Ryan Sweeney trying to make something happen.
Well, Gross set up perfectly, and you're right. And Mike Gallego, the A's third base coach, sending the ball towards the inside. And Navarro, a good job coming back to tag Sweeney. That's how close it was. Good slide by Ryan Sweeney, trying to go to the inside to avoid the tag. But Navarro able to use 2 hands and make the tag. But that's what happens when you're not scoring a lot of runs. You try to make things happen. You know, the fly ball is a little bit deeper. Maybe the wind brought it back a little bit for Gross, but A's tried to push it. They're not successful, and still trail 1-0.
So Gabe Gross leading it off. Gross, Navarro, and Iwamura. Trevor Cahill gave up a walk and then a double, as Ray said, then worked his way out of it. Could have been worse in the first inning.
25 pitches. He needs to have a few innings, economically speaking, with the pitch count and get some quick outs.
New scores are starting to come in. Some finals in the American League. Texas was trailing 4-3 with 2 outs in the top of the 9th inning in Baltimore. Michael Young, a 2-out, 2-run homer in the 9th. Texas 5, Baltimore 4. That's a final. So the Rangers with a big comeback win. That's their 7th win of the year. They're now 7-9. Actually, the first of a 4-game series in Baltimore. Those two teams will play on Monday, the Rangers and the Orioles. Drive to center. Sweeney on the run. Still on the run. Still on the run. Gone. Gabe Gross, home run number 1.
We talk about a pitcher that can throw a 2-seam fastball for a sink. 0-2. He fouled off a couple. Look how straight this fastball is. 89 miles an hour. And that was straight. No movement. And all Trevor Cahill was hoping that the wind would knock it down. But it sounded, as you just heard, like it was going to be exactly what it turned out to be, a home run. And good swing, but pretty good pitch to hit.
And Ray, that's the first home run that Cahill has given up in his career. It is Gabe Gross. So 2-0 Rays here in the 2nd.
See, that's also the difference. So the pitcher is sitting in the dugout, 2nd and 3rd, 1 out, trailing by a run, thinking that pretty good chance to get these 2 runs in, take the lead 2-1. Now he's trailing 2-0. Yep.
Slow start for Deoner Navarro, the all-star catcher for the Rays. Comes in hitting just 189 with a home run and just an RBI, and he drills that one to center, but this one's got some room and Sweeney has it. So 1 out here in the 2nd.
A pretty good swing by Gross, but still a pretty good pitch to hit, especially 0-2 when you have a chance to waste a couple, maybe try to get a hitter to chase a pitch, especially down.
Akinori Iwamura was the Rays' leadoff hitter all of last year, but this year hitting in the 8th spot. Off the end of the bat, Sweeney broke back. Now he's got to race in and over, and he makes the catch. So 2 outs here in the 2nd.
Tuesday, May the 5th, the A's host the Angels. First pitch is at 7:05, and 10,000 fans will receive an A's fleece blanket. Might need it tonight. Brought to you by Comcast. Our good people at Comcast are providing a fleece blanket. Probably about 95, as it was while the A's were in New York. For tickets, visit the Coliseum box office or order online at oaklandathletics.com. Yeah, while the A's were back in New York, it was 90 degrees.
Unbelievable.
Come back, and it's 87 in New York this weekend, and
something's not right here, because it was cold in New York. Maybe it's us, Ray.
Yeah,
maybe it's us. Jason Bartlett is the hitter. Shortstop for the Rays.
You look at the trade the Rays made last year, getting Bartlett and Garza for the Minnesota Twins. Garza, the League Championship MVP last year. A couple of wins, and Bartlett solidified the defense.
That's a fair ball. Long throw for Chavez. Not in time. Infield hit for Jason Bartlett.
Well, Chavez used the turf for a reason. Deep at third base, but once he had to back up, right there, the ball took a little funny hop, so he took a couple of steps, and then great throw using the turf. It's stretched by Bobby Crosby, but Bartlett runs too well. But the fact that Chavez had to back up into foul territory, that allowed Bartlett to get a little bit extra takeoff from home plate and beat it out for an infield hit.
And he is a stolen base threat. Bartlett had 20 steals last year. He's 5 for 5 this year. You know, talking about Jason Bartlett, there's people cover the Rays say he was kind of the glue last year in the infield, and certainly a secondary player in that trade. It was Garza for Delman Young, the two big names, but Rays really wanted a good, solid shortstop who catches the ball, and they got that in Jason Bartlett. He actually had a nice year offensively last year. Hit .286. Doesn't hit a lot of home runs, but catch the ball, make all the plays.
He made a play yesterday in Seattle with Ichiro hitting, and once Ichiro slaps the ball on the left side of the infield, pretty good chance he's going to beat it out. But Bartlett went into a slide to his right, got up, and threw him out by a couple of steps.
And Jason Bartlett, that's Matt Garza. Jason Bartlett, born in Mountain View, down in the South Bay. Inside strike to B.J. Upton, so the count 1-2.
B.J. Upton, that is Bossman Jr.
Love that name.
Yeah.
Bartlett's running. The throw is in time. One bounce. Kurt Suzuki to Mark Ellis, and Bartlett is gone. A home run by Gabe Gross. It's 2-0 Rays.
Ladies and gentlemen, it's now.
Ready to hit in the bottom of the second inning, and top effort, Carl's Jr. in your face. Check out the quick throw, quick release by Kurt Suzuki. Even more importantly, Mark Ellis at second base with a straddle, catches a short hop, and gets Jason Bartlett. But the key is Ellie getting to the bag and straddling it so he can take the short hop of the throw in the dirt. And actually, it's a perfect throw because it's right to Mark Ellis, and the fact that he was straddling the bag, able to catch the ball and apply the tag. Had a catcher way a long time ago said your job as a catcher to get the ball is to second as quickly as possible. The infielder's job is to catch the ball regardless of how you throw it. Get it there as quickly as possible. Look where Mark Ellis straddling the bag so he can just apply the tag. Bartlett sliding into it. Perfectly executed by Mark Ellis.
Cuss, Suzuki, and Chavez for the A's here in the bottom of the second. The Rays with a 2-0 lead early. 306 average for Jack Cust with a couple of home runs. Shift is on for Cust. Good off-speed pitch from Casimir. Ray, have you ever seen a center fielder play as shallow as B.J. Upton's playing, especially with Cubs?
Well, somebody with the speed that Upton has is not surprising.
He is very shallow.
Between Crawford in left and Upton in center. Nothing against Gabe Gross, but those two on the other side can fly. They can make up for a lot of mistakes. And Upton, of course, infielder. He became a very good center fielder. He definitely has the speed to go back on the ball. And you're going to steal, take away more hits, balls in front, than you are balls over your head. So, okay, Jack, hit one over his head. See how fast he is.
Hit hard and through the shift. So Jack Cust has a base hit leading off the second inning.
That's got to put a smile, and it does, on the face of Jack Cust, because the shift was on for a reason. Ground ball, but he couldn't have thrown it out there any more perfectly. Right through there. That's perfect. I love it. Right between them.
That time the shift did not work. It's a one hopper to second.
Yeah.
Right? If they're playing normal. Here's Kurt Suzuki. Kurt's a hot hitter. Talked about him in our open. 6 for 10 in that New York series. He was 9 for 21 on 5 games in the road trip. Not a lot of success against Casimir, though. 1 for 9 with 3 strikeouts.
But he's never been swinging the bat as well as he is right now when he's faced him in the past. So that's
right.
Change.
That's right. I know, Ray, you've talked about it many times. Think opposite field, think opposite field. And then when a pitcher makes a mistake, just react. And we've seen Kurt hit a lot of balls to right field and then start hitting line drives to right field. And then Sabathia makes a mistake on Wednesday, and he spins on it and hits one out.
Well, it's the same breaking ball that Sabathia throws that would be coming into the right-hander. And, of course, his right-hand batters, I don't know if they're going to know how to face a right-hander. I've seen so many lefties. 6 in a row.
Find out tomorrow, right?
Yeah.
Matt Garza, saw just a few moments ago, will pitch 6 straight, as Ray said. 10th time overall that the A's have faced the left-hander. And they have not fared well. And it's a 3-1 slider. That's low ball 4. 2 on and nobody out. Here's our leaderboard, brought to you by Firestone. Most career strikeouts before the age of 25. This is since 1969. And some familiar names on there. Frank Tanana, Eck, Scott Casimir.
How about this guy?
Bert Blyleven on top.
Still not in the Hall of Fame.
Nope.
Kurt Suzuki took a 3-1 changeup perfectly, and Xavi also getting an off-speed pitch. Casimir, like he was in the first inning, trying to find location, using the off-speed pitches more than his fastball.
Down the left field line. It is foul territory. Longoria makes the play. Casimir goes over to cover third base. So Chavez is retired, and that's the first out here in the second inning.
Batting in the 8th position.
So the struggles continue for Eric Chavez, trying to get him going. And then Mark Ellis will step in. Mark at 235 with 8 RBIs. Look at that career average against the Rays, 345. Ellis will be followed by Bobby Crosby. Mark Ellis had a couple hits in that series against the Yankees, but he did knock in 3 runs. He's 2 for 9. It's just the 2nd inning, and Scott Kazmir has thrown 37 pitches already. One and 2 to Mark Ellis. Well, Kazmir is a guy, and we've seen him enough now, Ray, where he strike guys out, but doesn't always get you to the 8th or 9th inning because he does throw a lot of pitches. He's thrown 111, 194 in his first 3 starts this year.
Surprisingly, the changeup he's thrown to the right-handers is not outside part of the plate and tailing away from them, and kind of inside. But the A's not able to keep the ball fair.
Two and 2 now. He's looking for an early big hit from Mark Ellis. Just had a single, and Suzuki had the walk to start the inning. Good take by Ellis, and now it's a full count.
A little difficult for hitters to see, but up here watching the monitor, you see that Kazmir's changing his delivery just a little bit as he throws his changeup. Pitchers have a tendency to try to quicken their delivery and then slow down, throw the changeup, instead of just throwing with a natural fastball delivery.
And there's the changeup again, just off the end of the bat. Lots of pitches early for both guys. So that means it's a night for the bullpens to do their job at some point. Full count. Cust and Suzuki. Cust dancing around at second base. They're not going anywhere, and it's pop foul down the right field line. Kazmir's going to think about it for a little bit.
No, he's looking back at second. Jack Cust is dancing off the bag, but he's not going anywhere. If he hasn't run yet, he's not going to be running, I wouldn't think, because Kazmir, with between his fastball and changeup, pretty much is all he's throwing.
Gabe Gross a couple steps in, and he's got it for the second out. So Bobby Crosby steps in. Crosby has seen Kazmir before, and this is what he did last year. One of the 4 hits that Crosby has in his career against Scott Kazmir. He's never not walked against him. He has struck out 6 times. High strike call by Tim Timmons. It's the home plate umpire. Jeff Kellogg is at first, Mark Wagner at second, and Bob Drake at third. That's the umpire alignment. Kellogg is the crew chief at first. So that's the guy who has to write the game report every night, right? The crew chief.
Well, he gets to have some cereal tomorrow morning, too.
Oh, you're a funny man, Ray. It was that day off, huh? Got you going a little bit?
Yeah. Well, you know, Mikey Thowell, he's got pretty much everything, but no doubt he'll have Kellogg's cornflakes.
Yep.
Yeah, that'll be there.
Yep.
Or Matt Weiss, he takes care of the umpires.
Toward third, Longoria has it, steps on the bag. A's do not score. They strand a pair. Onto the third in Oakland. 2-0 Rays. Will face the top of the order for the Rays. Upton, Crawford, and Longoria. And Cahill has given up single runs in the first and the second, so he's looking for a shutdown inning, a quick inning as well, as that was pitch number 44 by Cahill. Upton walked and scored in the first. He was at the plate when Bartlett got thrown out trying to steal second base. We're looking at the out-of-town scoreboard. First series of the year between the Red Sox and the Yankees, and this one a 3-game series at Fenway Park. Ray, did you see what happened?
What happened?
4-2. Yankees lead. Bottom of the ninth. 1 on, 2 outs. And Mariano Rivera, so 1 out away from wrapping it up. And Jason Bay hit a 2-run homer over the monster and left. So that game is tied 4-4 going to the 10th.
And I would say pretty good chance he had a cut fastball for a home run.
My guess would be, yeah. 3-2 pitch. Strike 3 called on the outside corner. Second strikeout for Cahill.
Ball started outside, came back over the outside part of the plate and froze B.J. Upton. Watch this ball, the movement coming back to the outside corner. Great job, Kurt Suzuki, keeping it in the strike zone, and even better call by Tim Timmons. Yeah.
Carl Crawford steps in. The Mariners and the Angels are underway down in Anaheim. Bedard and Lukes, the matchup there. Seattle has a 1-0 lead in the bottom of the third.
That's all they scored yesterday. It was enough to win.
Yeah.
Ichiro Suzuki with a leadoff home run.
Against these guys.
Yep.
Right.
Mariners made a lot of errors early. Rays could not capitalize, and King Felix won 1-0.
Mariners took 2 out of 3 in that series from the Rays. So we'll keep an eye on that one. Seattle and the Angels. Seattle with a 10-6 record. The Angels are 6-9. Fireworks after the game tonight here at the Coliseum.
But unfortunately, this cool weather probably kept a few thousand people home. The walk-up is always usually very good, especially on a fireworks evening.
Carl Crawford with the walk, and on that cue, Crawford a stolen base threat. How about Ricky Henderson? The premiere of a new hour-long program is coming up on Comcast Sportsnet, and it features only the most elite Bay Area athletes. First up, indeed, the stolen base king, Ricky Henderson. Tony La Russa, Dave Stewart, Mike Norris, Terry Steinbach, and Ricky himself break down the career of the stolen base king. That's tonight at 10:30, right after A's postgame live. So the ball game, and then A's postgame live, and then nice documentary on Ricky Henderson. A's, the new home, Comcast Sportsnet, California. So Longoria reached on a fielder's choice in the first. Crawford not going, swing and a miss. Lined, fair ball, left field corner. Holliday's going to have to pick it up in a hurry. Crawford hits the bag at third, and they're going to hold him there as the ball came off the wall nicely to Holliday, and he was able to pick it up clean. But Longoria with the double, second and third and 1 out.
2 great pitches to Longoria. Pitches down, 1 out of the strike zone. But then the third one, and the most critical, left it up and no chance for a ground ball. Instead, it's a double, and you're right, the ball carried right back to Holliday because Carl Crawford was thinking score.
I thought he was going to go, but
Tom Foley able to see the ball coming back to Holliday very quickly and accurately, and got the ball back in. But the elevation of the pitch to Longoria allowed him to be able to not hit the ball on the ground.
Carlos Pena steps in and takes a pitch just a little bit inside. Well, the good news, bad news here, Pena, pretty good hitter, but he does strike out a lot. He has struck out 20 times in 16 games already this year. But he drives one here, right center. Sweeney going back, still going back, gone. 3-run homer, and that's a big one. 5-0 Rays.
Try to go inside the first one that missed, and then this one right down the middle, and see Trevor Cahill's reaction. Carlos, strong young man, and wow. So 3 starts, and Trevor Cahill had not given up a home run. Tonight, 2. This is the 3rd inning.
Number 5, Pat Burrell.
And it's all about location for him as far as the location of the pitch. 7 home runs, 20 runs driven in for Carlos Pena.
Not a bad start. Burrell on the first pitch, and Mark Ellis has it. So 2 outs here in the third.
Number 26.
And Gabe Gross steps in. Gross homered leading off the second inning. Most home runs in the majors. 07, 08, and into this year. Some big boppers on that list. And Pena belongs on that.
It took Carlos about 5 clubs before it all clicked in for him.
It sure did click, didn't it?
Ray's a recipient of his power, and third year for him at Tampa Bay, and off to another great start after 2 very good years.
Pena 46 home runs in 07, 31 in 08. Seven already this year. Line drive, left center field. That's going to get down. And Gabe Gross is going to have a double. So Gabe Gross, a homer and a double.
It's amazing how walks factor into innings. This pitch out to Gross again, and after pulling the ball to right center for a home run, takes this shot to left center as he just let the ball help him by going with the pitch. But a leadoff walk to Upton, he scored in the first, and a 1-out walk to Crawford in this inning, and he has scored in front of Pena's home run.
Deanna Navarro steps in. So 6 hits in the game now for the Rays. Navarro flied out to center field in the second inning. His bullpen is quiet.
14 innings on Wednesday, and even though an off day yesterday, still took its toll a little bit on the pen.
And the A's, a transaction sending Sean Gallagher to AAA, and the A's brought up a familiar face, Jack Hanahan. There's Jack, so it's good to have him back. Sean Gallagher is going to go down, and he's going to start for the River Cats. Towards center, Sweeney plays it on a hop. Gross is going to come around, and he's going to score. So a 2-out RBI single by Navarro, and it's a 4-run third inning. 6-0 now Rays.
Trevor tried to get the sinking action, and he had one fly ball in the first, 2 in the second, and a caught stealing. Strikeout, another fly ball. So we're not seeing the ground balls that we have seen in the first 3 starts from Cahill.
It's amazing how when a sinker ball pitcher, when the ball stays up, how it flattens out.
Yeah, there's good movement, and even with Gross, the pitch that he hit, the double to left center, had the movement, but was side to side and not down.
Iwamura swing and a miss. Good off-speed pitch from Cahill. So it's 0-2. Iwamura flied out to center field in the second inning. Dan Geis starts to loosen up, the long man for the A's. It all started with a B.J. Upton strikeout. Cahill got him looking. foul by Iwamura.
Well, the offense, there's no doubt, take a lot of pressure off a pitcher, and granted, Cahill's given up. Wow, look at 10, 20, 30. 10 balls, 20 strikes, 30 pitches.
Navarro takes off. The throw is not in time, and Navarro looked like he may have slid off the bag. Cabrera went back to maybe tag him the second time, but neither one got him, and Navarro steals the base.
Well, they just forgot about Navarro at first, and foot across, but his hand reached back, was able to keep himself safe. Cabrera reaching back, stayed with him though.
That one's lined down the right field line, and that's going to get down for a hit. Navarro scores. Iwamura to second with a double. Another RBI hit with 2 outs, and it's now 7-0 Rays.
Well, we talked about the Rays club not hitting well, but they are a good hitting club, and particularly nice to see them wake up tonight. And Bob Guerin's going to the bullpen.
So tough outing for Trevor Cahill. He goes 2 2/3. Gives up 8 hits and 7 runs. So the youngster's going to give the ball to Dan Geis, and we'll step aside. 7-0 Rays in the third. Cache Creek's Showers of Cash is giving away $500 every 20 minutes. Visit cashcreek.com for details. So Trevor Cahill will sit down. 76 pitches and a few too many balls up in the strike zone. And the Rays took advantage of it. So it's 7-0 Tampa Bay. Dan Geis takes over. And the first pitch to Jason Bartlett. Curveball drops in first round. So the 9th man to hit here in the third for Tampa Bay.
We mentioned Geis being a long man. He has pitched 2 extra inning games. He's played on the road. Saturday, 12-inning game. Wednesday, a 14-inning game. Pitched well the first 2. Ended up giving a walk-off to Overbay and then Cabrera, Toronto, and the Yankees.
Cabrera charges, throws on the run, not in time. Bartlett beats it out, so it's an infield hit. Ramur goes down to third. 4th consecutive hit and the 6th hit overall here in the 3rd inning.
Cabrera could not get a lot on the throw. It being hit very slowly, so Upton, who struck out to start the inning on a 3-2 close pitch, tries it again. Can he make 2 outs in an inning?
I hope he can.
Yeah.
Upton had some off-season surgery. His left shoulder. And he was on the disabled list just the first week of the season or so. Made his debut for this season on April 13th. So he missed just a little bit of time. Sometimes a young player comes into his own in the postseason, and that was the case last year with E.J. Upton. 7 home runs and 16 RBIs in the postseason last year. And it's a walk.
Between he and Longoria, 2 very good young players, 13 home runs. Think back to Gene Tennis in the 1972 World Series. Home runs in his first 2 at-bats. Longoria did it with his first 2 pitches, 2 swings.
Why wait around?
White Sox.
The bases are loaded, and Carl Crawford is the hitter. It's quickly 0-2 to Crawford. Into the A's dugout with that foul ball. Ramirez the runner at third, Bartlett at second, and Upton at first. So very good speed out there. It's blocked by Kurt Suzuki. Young man moves around well back there.
He works hard at it. For the game, he puts the gear on, goes up in the workout room, or finds some place where he can get loose. And by the time the season's over, he'll probably put about 140 next to his games caught.
Matt Holliday in left field, and he's got it, and the side is retired. 5 runs for the Rays in the third. Bottom of the third coming up at 7-0 Tampa Bay.
Tampa Bay Rays, and then the A's back out on the road. Sunday, the A's take on Avalon Goria and the Rays. Game time 1:05. And the 10,000 kids 14 and under will get a reusable water bottle. For tickets, call 877-493-BALL or visit oaklandathletics.com. It's pretty good. Nice little water bottle. Get ready for the summer.
Yeah. Take it to the ball game.
Always nice to have a lot of liquids to drink in the summertime if you're young and out playing and you're chasing Jack around.
That's right. Usually he asks, it's supposed to be, a 5-year-old supposed to ask his dad, "Dad, can I have some juice?" But in our house, it's like, "Jack, can I have some juice? Because you're tiring me out."
Yeah.
He's got a lot of work to do. They are down 7-0 in the bottom of the third.
Scott Kazmir, once again, 3-0, walked Ryan Swinney on 4 pitches to start the game. So I think Kazmir, I know Kazmir with 7-run leads, thinking I got to pitch deep in the game. Offense gives that kind of support, but it doesn't help after getting 5 runs. Top half of the inning, he walks on 5 pitches.
It's the third walk by Kazmir, and he has not struck anybody out yet. Well, there's enough time yet, only the third inning, for the A's to chip away at the 7-0 lead, but at some point, it's got to start.
Yeah. At some point, you have to take advantage of gifts. Kazmir, third consecutive inning, he's put a runner on base and to start the inning, but he pitches better out of the stretch, and that's where he gets out of his trouble, at least so far in the first 2 innings.
Oh, 0-2 to Orlando Cabrera. Mariners still with a 1-0 lead over the Angels in Anaheim. That game now in the top of the 5th. On a cold night, probably hurt even more, but luckily Cabrera did not get hit by that pitch. Somehow he was able to get out of the way. Been a struggle for Cabrera the last week and a half or so. It's just 3 for his last 31. Good swing there, and fouls it straight back. But he's a good hitter. He has been a good hitter, so no reason to think that he won't straighten it out. Comes in with a .211 average. Omar Garciaparra waits in the on-deck circle. And another foul ball. It's Cabrera hanging in there. That Yankees-Red Sox game now into the 11th inning, tied at 4.
Markel has fouled off 4 after getting 2 strikes. Same now for Orlando Cabrera. So for Scott Kazmir, his fastball not sharp enough to put hitters away. Breaking ball, change up, still trying to throw effectively. Meanwhile, the pitch count continues to rise.
With a little help from Cabrera. And now full count. So Orlando Cabrera doing a good job, making life a little bit difficult for Kazmir. This is The 11th pitch of the at bat. Sweeney at first. Bounced. Ewamer is right there. Steps on the bag, and that's a double play. 2 outs.
Oh, the 7-run lead, 7-0 lead. They were holding Sweeney at first base, and see why. It's a double play in order, able to turn it with a 4 unassisted at second. Hit it perfectly right too, even at second.
And now 2 outs and nobody aboard for Garciaparra, who had a base hit to right field in the first inning. So 1-2 now to Nomar after a couple of swing throughs. Foul territory. Pena a long run, and he's not going to be able to get there. It's another chance for Nomar. Trevor Cahill, 7 earned runs tonight in 2 2/3 innings.
Came in with a very good ERA at 2.60 his first 3 starts, but that's going to bump up a little bit after tonight.
Change-up, and Garciaparra swings and misses, and that's the first strikeout for Kazmir, and that ends the bottom of the 3rd. 4th inning coming up, 7-0 Rays. Fourth inning. Carlos Pena with a 3-run homer. That's the biggest hit in the game, but it was a 5-run 3rd inning. It's done the most damage for the Rays. Rays offense had struggled some this year. And the last game they played was yesterday afternoon in Seattle, and they lost 1-0. They only had 4 hits.
King Felix Felix Hernandez started the game, a game that started at 3:40.
Matt Holliday near the seats, and he runs out of room.
At 3:40 in the afternoon at Safeco Field, the shadows, and Felix Hernandez pitching, that does not give you a great opportunity to have a lot of success. Joe Madden and his ball club losing 1-0, but as Jim Hickey, the pitching coach, said, and they play those games 3:40, 4 o'clock because of the traffic. If they played at 1 o'clock, they'd have the stadium traffic and also the business workers leaving. But he said, that's all right. Close the roof. Take away the shadows.
Yeah, that's true.
But in watching some of the game, looked like a nice sunny day, so I'm sure they wanted to keep it open. But boy, it makes it very tough to pick up any sort of spin on the baseball. Throwing out of the sun into the shadows to the plate, especially facing someone like Hernandez.
And the 3-2 pitch outside to Longoria, and that's a walk. So the leadoff man is aboard for the Rays here in the 4th. That's the 4th walk issued by A's pitcher.
Carlos Pena.
The Mariners are rallying at Anaheim. Seattle now has a 4-0 lead over the Angels in the top of the 5th, and Seattle has the bases loaded and nobody out. So they're trying to, let's bust that one open. Again, that's Shane Lukes, the starting pitcher for Anaheim.
Angels will be at the Coliseum the next homestand. A's will be going to Seattle next road trip.
That's right.
See the Rangers for the first time next week and in Arlington. Yeah, Carlos Pena, he hit 6 home runs coming into the night's game, make it 7. This towering shot to right center, a couple on board, so he has now driven in 20 with his 7 home runs.
Hit that one hard, but foul. Past George Hendrick.
George back at the Coliseum where his career started as a member of the Athletics.
There he is.
72 World Championship Club.
He looks like he could still play, doesn't
Yes, he
Looks
does.
in great shape. And he gets underneath this one. Cust. He's got it, and that's the first out here in the 4th.
Number 5, Pat Burrell.
So Pena retired, and Pat Burrell steps in.
Asking Pat Burrell how the tickets are for tonight.
Yeah, he's a local boy.
Elderman High said not only that, but his wife's from the area. So it just says, I think everybody in the world's out here.
Mark Ellis calls off Crosby, and Mark Ellis makes the play. Well, here is Pat Burrell as a youngster at Bellarmine. Went on to have a terrific collegiate career there, University of Miami.
Looked like a major leaguer, didn't he?
He did. He had that look. Well, when you're in college and your nickname is Pat the Bat, yeah, that's a good sign.
Carried that to Philadelphia as well.
Yep. Two outs, and Gabe Gross will hit.
We talked about Burrow coming over from the National League, used primarily as a DH for the Rays. And on one hand, when you can save your legs by not having to play defense, on the other hand, if you struggle at the plate, at least you can go out and play defense and forget about it.
Yeah.
But when you're DH, all you have to do, or all you can do, is think about your next at bat.
And if it's a bad at bat,
yeah,
it takes a while to think about it. He'll get used to it. He's a good hitter. Gabe Gross has been a good hitter tonight. A homer and a double, and he has scored twice. Both of those hits were against Trevor Cahill. And now it's Dan Geis, who took over in the third. Inside again, 3-1.
But Kurt Suzuki is young because he is definitely getting a workout tonight. Did a good job catching pretty much everything that's thrown at him. Either catching it or blocking it, but still having to move it a lot.
And it's a walk. So a pair of walks in the inning, and the Rays have 2 on, 2 out.
Number 30, Deanna Navarro.
Well, Deanna Navarro will take his third at bat here in the first 4 innings. Geis has thrown 28 pitches so far, and I think he's going to need to stay out there for a couple more innings. Good pitch there to Navarro.
Well, he could have been in Boston tonight. Remember the Yankees, where he was to start the season, and saw his club lose a tough one.
Yeah.
What did Youkilis do to win it?
I don't know. BI?
Walk-off.
A walk-off home run by Kevin Youkilis. So I don't know if you heard us talking about it earlier, but the Red Sox were 1 out away from a 4-2 win. Or I stand corrected. The Yankees were 1 out away from a 4-2 win. Jason Bay hit a 2-run homer with 2 outs in the 9th to tie it, and Youkilis wins it. Jack Cust is there, and the side is retired, and the Rays do not score. Bottom of the 4th coming up, 7-0 Tampa Bay. In San Francisco. I read in here that the Coliseum is not a hitter's park. Is this true? And if so, why is it not a hitter's park? Ray, you've been here for a long, long time.
Thank you.
Well, you know what I mean. As a broadcaster, as a player, you've seen it all.
Well, it's never really been a hitter's park. Lowest runs per game by ballpark. You see
last season.
Yeah. A's third. But the problem and the good thing for pitchers is the fact that it has so much foul territory because it is still a multi-purpose stadium. Football, of course, played here by the Raiders. The foul territory at the Coliseum is tremendous, which means from a pitcher standpoint, you're going to get a lot of quick outs or outs that in a lot of parks, most parks now, the ball's going to be in the seats. So the hitter gets an extra opportunity. But look at all this. Whoops. See all the foul territory. And infielders can run the ball down.
So how does, we talk a lot about nighttime, ball doesn't carry.
No.
Sunshine, it does carry. I mean, has that been pretty hard and fast?
Well, I think there's no doubt as the summer comes and it warms up a little bit.
But it's that way in any park, right? I mean, warmer weather, the ball's going to carry better.
Except Yankee Stadium, they're doing.
It's that jet stream to right field that we learned so much about in New York.
But you look at players in the early part of the season here. Jack Cust, the first series of the season, thought he had 2 home runs in one game. Ended up getting a couple in the series, but the ball just does not carry well. I think Frank Thomas, perfect example. His first year here at 06, hit a ball left field, bases loaded, started Cadillac and thinking it was a grand slam.
That's right.
Ball hit the wall and got a double, and all his teammates just kind of laughed at him and said, "Welcome to Oakland, Frank," especially in April. But let's see what happens with that one.
Will it carry? Upton reaches for the wall, and then he reaches out and makes the catch.
Well, there's your answer about playing shallow.
You can do it.
But I would say Jack Cust probably will tell you after the game that he hit that ball well enough to get out. Just tremendous power to the opposite field. Got under it, sounded great, but it's high enough that Upton could get to the ball prior to running into the wall and make the catch. In front of the Comcast Sportsnet California sign, which is left center. I put one in right center. Yep, there it is, right center for high definition sports on Comcast.
Okay, so
I'd say it's definitely not a hitter's park.
So
never has been.
Take away Mount Davis the way it was. Still was not.
Nope. Because he had more winds coming in, and now they're just the view quarters, right center, right field, and left center, where you get the wind. You can't look at the flags and determine how the wind is blowing, but still the wind does come in. But I think it's a heavy air, and before Mount Davis was built, you take the huge structure down. Beautiful sight of the Oakland Hills, but still the ball didn't carry.
3 up, 3 down inning for Scott Kazmir, and we are through 4 at the Coliseum. It's 7-0 Rays. Four degrees first pitch. 7-0 Rays. The Rays got 1 in the first, 1 in the second, and 5 in the third. So they come to bat here in the 5th. Iwamura, Bartlett, and Upton against Dan Geis. Iwamura is 1 for 2. He had an RBI double. That was in the 3rd inning. And he rips one right center. That's a base hit. Iwamura, big turn. So Akinori Iwamura is 2 for 3. And that's the 10th hit in the game for the Rays.
Number 8, Jason Bartlett.
Kind of lifts this sinking fastball, lifts it into right center. Little uppercut swing. So you have Iwamura and Ichiro, kind of similar style of hitters. Slap the ball, good speed, and then you have Hideki Matsui, we saw it in New York, more of a power hitter named Godzilla when he was with him in Japan for 10 years.
Well, Iwamura and Ichiro won a pair of World Baseball Classics. Iwamura was the starting second baseman for Japan's championship team.
Pretty good second baseman after starting with the Rays as a third baseman. Made the transition very easily. Just when Evan Longoria came up, I don't think anybody's going to play third for the Rays for many years.
How long's the contract? That's how long nobody's going to play.
Well, then when that contract is up, prior to contract expiring, or at least ending, he will sign another contract.
Yep. Nice play. Eric Chavez throws wide. Crosby cannot get the tag on him, but a good try by Bobby Crosby. It's going to be a hit for Jason Bartlett.
3 hits for Bartlett. He's not left the infield once tonight. So hit ball to third, short, and now
B.J. Upton.
Xavi, a great play, immediately coming up to throw to first base. Strong throw, but just happened to be up the line. And once again, Bartlett showing his excellent speed, beating out the infield hits. So came into the play hitting .352 in the season. Yeah, perfect night for him. Let's hope that grimace is not because of the throwing. If he had heard it, or felt it.
0-1 to B.J. Upton, the leadoff hitter. And there's a strike, and it's 0-2. Josh Outman takes the jacket off, and he's going to start to get loose. Bounce towards second. Ellis has it. Cabrera to Crosby, and that's a double play. So 2 outs, and Iwamura goes to third.
Well, it had to be hit hard because B.J. Upton can fly, but Mark Ellis and Cabrera turning it perfectly. Nice feed by Mark Ellis, and Cabrera had to straddle. Runner Bartlett coming in hard at second base. And watching Bobby Crosby stretch it first. Never had to do that at short.
That's right.
So all new things for Bobby as he continues to play different positions other than the one he's played his whole career, that is shortstop. Did a great job, though. First base is not as easy as everybody thinks. Oh, it's an easy. Anybody can play first. Not true.
No, you got a few things you got to do over there that you don't do anywhere else on the diamond. Bob's a good athlete.
Absolutely. That's the key. If you're a good athlete, you can do anything.
Just a bit off the plate to Carl Crawford, so it's 3-0. And a 4-pitch walk. That's the 6th walk the Rays have received, and we're just in the 5th inning. So first and third, 2 outs, and here's Longoria.
Number 3, Evan Longoria.
I believe this young man, as talented as he is, and has shown already, this being his second full year. Of course, the unanimous Rookie of the Year last year, was not drafted out of high school. What were the scouts not seeing in this young man?
So you're telling me scouting is not a fine science? Huh?
97, it was Nomar Garcia Park, came from the same high school, as a matter of fact, as Longoria, the last unanimous Rookie of the Year winner. They missed about a month with a broken hand.
The runner takes off Crawford, and he's there without much of a problem. So second and third now, 2 outs. It's the 6th stolen base of the year for Kyle Crawford. Longoria straight back. Fielder's choice, a double and a walk for Longoria. So he has been on base all 3 times. He rips that one to Cabrera on 1 hop. And it straightens up and side retired, and the Rays do not score. Bottom of the 5th coming up, still 7-0 Tampa Bay. That Bay Area. Tonight's topics. Recap this game and the Giants and the Diamondbacks down in Arizona. Sharkies in trouble, folks, down 3-1, and the NFL draft is tomorrow. Raiders with the 7th pick in the first round. The 49ers with the 10th. So a big day in the NFL tomorrow. Here in Oakland, it's 7-0 Rays, bottom of the 5th inning. There, Chavez steps in. Chavez, Ellis, Crosby against Scott Kazmir. Kazmir, that was pitch number 77. He's retired 5 in a row. He's wobbled at times. Walked 3, struck out just 1 so far. The A's have yet to push anything across home plate and get something going against him. Chavez popped out. in foul territory to Longoria. That was in the second inning.
Unfortunately, the team is struggling to get some bad looking averages, but very quickly they can get up to respectability, as Kurt Suzuki has shown with a good series in New York. It's a good part about the early part of the season. A lot of at bats.
Chavez, a slow roller, just foul. Yeah, if you're hitting 220 in August, you may not get to 250 unless you go crazy.
Suzuki changed his number to number 8. He's called Yogi Suzuki. Great Hall of Fame catcher Yogi Berra wore number 8, retired at Yankee Stadium throughout the ceremonial first pitch at the first game a week ago yesterday at Yankee Stadium.
Again, the 1-2 to Eric Chavez. And fouls it back. A good swing by Eric.
4 more foul balls with 2 strikes. And that, if anything, is the A standpoint, fouling off the tough pitches with 2 strikes has the pitch count up to 83 for Scott Kazmir.
Swing and a miss. He got him with the slider. Second strikeout for Kazmir. 1 out here in the bottom of the 5th.
Slider that starts in the strike zone and just keeps moving away from Eric Chavez, and no contact made. It's a very tempting pitch. Had to swing at it, as might have caught the corner anyway, even had he not been struck out.
Mark Ellis is gone. 6-3 on the putout.
So are the Sharks proving that regardless of what you do during the season,
man,
you get in postseason, playoffs doesn't mean a thing.
Ain't that true?
Get a team, play a team that's hot, and they have to pull a Boston Red Sox miracle. Down 3-1.
Yeah,
fortunately, the first round 7 games. Right?
That's right.
Yeah.
You'd be going home if it was baseball.
If it was baseball.
Sharkies they're in some trouble, but we hope that they can win 3 in a row.
See, in the hockey and basketball, they can play in the postseason for 2 months. First of all, they're playing indoors.
That's right.
So they don't have to worry about bad weather, as long as the ice freezes. Or if it's a basketball hockey rink, that it doesn't melt on the floor, the hardwood floor.
That's right.
But we wish them well.
Yeah.
Hope they do come back.
Pete Delonzo, one of our cameramen. Sharks fan. Fan of most contact sports is Pete Delonzo. There it is, folks. Tomorrow at the Shark Tank. And if ever the fans needed to be revved up, that would be it. But that would be a major letdown, folks, if the Sharks, after, I mean, they've had some good seasons, but they've never had a regular season quite like this one where they were so terrific. Not over yet, but the backs are way against the wall. Bartlett charges, gets a big hop, flips to first, and Kazmir has retired 8 in a row. 6th inning coming up, 7-0 Rays. game series. Pena, Burrell, and Gabe Gross against Dan Geis. And Geis took over in the third. Got out of that. So he has not allowed a run so far. He's pitched very well. Two and 0. Pena, a 3-run homer in the third, his 7th of the year. Coming into tonight's game, trailing Carlos Quinton of the White Sox, who also has 7. And since the White Sox got shut out tonight, 14-0 to the Blue Jays, we know Quinton did not hit a home run.
The red hot Blue Jays.
Yeah, playing good baseball at Toronto. They're now 13-5.
And that's with 5 starters on the disabled list.
Unbelievable. See who went on?
Ricky Romero.
And B.J. Ryan.
Well, that's... We could see Ryan was struggling,
yeah.
But Ricky Romero pitched very well against the A's.
Now, Romero was not an arm situation. It was a strained muscle in the side, I believe, is what I read. So Pena rifles one down the right field line, and that is gone. That's a home run for Carlos Pena, his 2nd of the ball game and his 8th of the year.
And a 1-0 fastball for a home run, and you fall behind.
Number 5.
And that's what he can do. A line drive down the line. Starts inside a little bit, but he waited on it and just top-handed the ball. Usually a pitch like that, it's got to be pulled foul, but this stayed just inside the line. Probably hit so hard that it didn't have a chance to hook.
You may be right. Pat Burrell drives one center field. Sweeney in front of the wall, and he's got it. That's the first out here in the 6th.
Let's see. I think probably last year where Pat Burrell played, that's probably a
that baby's gone. Yes.
Trot around the bases.
Number 26, Dave Gross.
Well, Pat Burrell has not joined the hit parade tonight. He's 0 for 4.
So some of the Rays, when they asked when it's going to warm up, I said, pretty good chance tomorrow and Sunday. If the sun is out, which is supposed to be a nice weekend. Not going to be the 90s that experienced, but still with the sun, it's a much nicer day.
And, you know, we're not out of the month of April yet.
Yeah. Is spring training over yet? It lasted forever. February, March, and April exhibition games will be played. So it's, you know, I think one of the things too, and the A's struggling, and Rays had been struggling offensively before tonight when they have awakened.
So 2 outs here in the 6th inning.
Tomorrow afternoon, the A's will host these American League champion Tampa Bay Rays in game time 1:05. 10,000 fans will get a Matt Holliday replica jersey, and it's courtesy of Pepsi. Get tickets online now at oaklandathletics.com. Oh, by the way, if you're watching this game and you're saying, hey, 6th inning, got a chance to go out and watch the fireworks, come on out.
Sure.
There's still some seats available.
Oh, yeah.
I'm sure the A's would accommodate and the fireworks show.
That's a good looking uni right there.
There's the Holliday jersey. Does the smile come with the jersey?
Yes, it does. It should. The free jersey.
You know, I think one of the problems this early in the season is kind of the getting in the rhythm of playing every day. He's had the unfortunate off day with the death of Nick Adenhart in Anaheim, so this is Thursday off. Get rained out in New York. scheduled off day yesterday, another scheduled off day Monday. And this game, as hard as it is, needs to be played every day. You get in a certain rhythm as a hitter to swing the bat. Same for pitching, playing the game. And as we have always seen, the off days come early when they don't need them. They need to play every day and need them in the second half when they don't get them. And we understand it will be 28 consecutive games as the A's and Yankees will make up the game July on the Thursday.
Yeah. Sure. You see the stretch the Rays are in is what you're talking about, but on the other end, 40 games in 41 days.
Right.
And that stretch just started. They will have 1 day off in the month of May.
And they're required by the Union rules, 20 consecutive days. That's all you can play.
So 20 games in a row, a day off,
help them, though.
and 20 more in a row.
It's going to help them.
All right, we'll be back. Middle of the sixth, 8-0. Look at the Matt Holliday jersey.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to
Well, the Rays got to run 2 batters into the game, and they haven't stopped. As Carlos Pena, a couple of home runs, 4 RBIs. It's 8-0. The Rays lead. I think I may have said 7-0 going to our last break. 8-0. Scott Kazmir back out there, 6th inning of work. He has retired 8 in a row, so he has indeed settled down. He's given up just 2 hits. A single by Garcia Parra in the first, and a single by Cust in the second. But Kazmir looking for his 3rd win of the year. Broken bat bouncer, Pena has it. And that's the first out here in the 6th. Well, Ray, I have my early season choice for the American League Cy Young Award. Even though it's April, whatever it is today.
ZG, Zach Greinke, right?
Zach Greinke. Unbelievable. He did it again tonight. Zach Greinke coming into tonight's start. The Kansas City Royals, very talented right-hander. This year, they've gone 20 consecutive scoreless innings in his first 13 starts. His first 3 starts. All 4 of them. But going back to last year, 34 consecutive scoreless innings. So he took the mound tonight against the Tigers, and all he did was throw a complete game, 3-hitter. He gave up a run, but it was an unearned run. 1 walk and 10 strikeouts. Cabrera to right, and that's the second out. So his He's 4 starts, 4-0, 0.00 ERA. So he's my guy.
He is.
So 1 run he's given up in 4 starts, and it was an unearned run. I mean, we've seen him, and he's really good.
Major League debut right here at the Coliseum. And he has gone between the bullpen, the rotation, and I think he's settled in exactly where Trey Hillman wants him. And that is in the rotation, extend his contract, multi-year deal.
Kazmir has his 3rd consecutive 3-up, 3-down inning. 7th inning coming up. It's 8-0 Tampa Bay. Good time on a Friday night. Cool night at the ballpark. The fireworks coming up after the game. These 2 teams will be back at it tomorrow afternoon. 1 o'clock first pitch, 1:05 to be exact. It'll be Dallas Braden and Matt Garza, and that will be a radio-only matchup. Sunday, Dana Evelyn, Andy Sonnenstein. Again, 1 o'clock right here. Back on Comcast Sportsnet California. So that's the rest of the series and the pitching matchups. Joe Madden talking to a starting pitcher. There's the bullpen on the right field line where the Rays are located. They're standing up, but it looks like they're probably standing up maybe to keep warm. But they are moving around down there, so we'll see. Iwamura swings and misses, so the count 0-2. Iwamura, Bartlett, and Upton against Dan Geis, who has given up 1 run in the game, and that was the Carlos Pena home run.
And Josh Outman was up to come in a couple of innings ago, but a credit to Dan Geis. He's doing his job as a long reliever to give the club some innings. Might deserve a day off tomorrow.
Yep. Just missed in the count 2-2. And we saw Grant Balfour warming up earlier in the game. Iwamura is 2 for 3 with a single and a double. Iwamura strikes out, so Dan Geis has his first strikeout of the night.
Number 8, Jason Bartlett.
So 1 out, and Jason Bartlett will hit. In that Blue Jays 14-0 win over the White Sox, the Blue Jays had 21 hits.
And they are doing exactly what everybody hoped the A's would be doing, because they have their starters on the disabled list. The A's, of course, with a young starting staff, hopeful of having a good offense, take some pressure off. Well, the Blue Jays are doing exactly that. They're scoring runs. They're coming up with the big hits. The A's saw it over the weekend, losing 2 or 3 to the Jays. And there's no doubt the pitchers go after them. They know they got a chance to give up a few runs, but yet knowing the club's going to score some runs, that makes it a lot easier. Got Kazmir experiencing that tonight. He's given up no runs, but his club is early in the game giving him a lot of support to make it easy on him.
2-2 to Bartlett, who is 3 for 3. All infield singles. And this one's a line drive, and it's going to drop in front of Matt Holliday. So Jason Bartlett is 4 for 4. So a big night for Bartlett, and that's now 13 hits for the Rays.
Hanging slider from Dan Geisen. Probably feels great to get a ball out of the infield for a hit, but I guarantee you he'll look at the paper and he says 4 hits tomorrow. He doesn't care if they didn't make it past the infield or not.
Doesn't matter.
It does not matter. They are hits regardless.
Now you can bundle up, stay warm, wear gloves, still get a foul.
That's right. Hey, but I just realized the hero tonight is Tim Timmons, the home plate umpire. He is shirtless or sleeveless and jacketless.
He's my hero.
Yeah, how about this? It is cold. These guys are bundled up like Brady over here. But not Tim Timmons.
Upton strikes out. Well, you look at the other umpires, and down at third, it's Rob Drake, and he's under something there. You can't even hardly see him. Gloves on.
Got his mask. He's
That's Mark Wegner.
Yeah. And you can say, well, we talk about the players who go sleeveless because they're moving around. Tim Timmons is hardly moving. He's standing there.
That's right.
This has been a familiar sight. Joe Madden. We've seen some games in Boston. Of course, it's been cold and dressing warmly.
Bobby Crosby knocks it down, picks it up, stays with it. Crawford is retired. 7th inning stretch. It's the Rays 8 and the A's nothing. So far, this was the second hitter of the game. Carl Crawford doubles in the left field corner. B.J. Upton scores. And then in the second inning, Gabe Gross a home run. That made it 2-0. It was still a ball game, but in the third, the Rays blew it open. A 3-run homer by Carlos Pena. 5 runs scored in that third inning, and then Pena in the 6th solo shot, so a 2-homer game for Carlos Pena, and it is 8-0 Rays. The Athletics with just 2 hits. So Scott Kazmir is done after 6 innings and 96 pitches.
And you look at his line, he gave up a hit in the second, then walked Suzuki first and second, then he retired the next 3. Walk in the third, double play, and that was it. And the A's offense the rest of the game against Scott Kazmir.
So Grant Valpor comes in. Seemed like watching the postseason last year, Ray, seemed like Valpor pitched in every game. Yeah. And maybe he did, I don't know, but he was out there a lot, and he was pretty good. He pitched to Matt Holliday, and it's 0-2. Matt Holliday is 0 for 2 in the ball game. In the hole, Bartlett handles a tough hop, straightens up, and throws a strike. That is a very nice play by the shortstop, Jason Bartlett.
Joe Madden was talking before the game about he feels very strongly. And this is one guy. 7 of his players could win Gold Gloves. That's how strongly he feels.
Well, I know Longoria is terrific up there.
Well, and we're just showing Bartlett. Pena's already won 1 at first. But Longoria is just, I mean, he's a superstar in the making. You know, Carlos Pena, a late bloomer in a sense, playing a lot of different clubs, but he's found a home. B.J. Upton covers a lot of ground in center.
Crawford in left.
Yeah.
So you're right.
But he has challenged them, and Joe Madden is a very good manager when it comes to messages, if you will. His great model last year was 9 = 8.
And it worked.
9 players equals one of 8 possessions in postseason, one of the spots, and definitely worked. And 27 game improvement over the year before. And coincidentally, he challenges offense to win 9 more games. His defense to win 9 more games, and his pitching to win 9 more. 27.
I like it.
And I asked him, I said, what's your message this year? He's got it. But, you know, it's basically, it's not the same road. I mean, it'd be a different road you travel to try to take the one extra step this year. But the main thing is to forget about what happened in 2008. 2009 is a different year. Got to do the job.
And for the Rays, they have to deal with playing in a very good division.
Yeah.
And you're always going to have to deal with, of course, the Red Sox and the Yankees.
And Blue Jays now, the way they're playing. And
I mean, it's a division where you could have a really good year and not make the postseason.
Yeah. And there's 2 clubs hope that doesn't happen. That's the Yankees and the Red Sox.
That's right.
With their big payrolls.
8-0 as we head to the 8th in Oakland.
awarded with an $800 check from Wells Fargo. Congratulations to Principal Judy Billingsley and the teachers and students of James Logan High. And thank you to Wells Fargo.
New pitcher for the Athletics, it's Michael Wirtz. But Dan Geis does a pretty good job. 4 1/3 innings. Geis gives up just that home run to Carlos Pena, the only run he gave up in 4 1/3. So Evan Longoria, Carlos Pena, Pat Burrell are the 3 scheduled hitters. Longoria is 1 for 3, and he's been on base 3 times. He's got a double, a walk, and reached on a fielder's choice. The right-hander out in the Rays bullpen. It's Joe Nelson, and Longoria swings and misses at that good Michael Wirtz breaking pitch.
Longoria shaking his head, and Michael Wirtz has had a few hitters shaking their heads with this turbo slider that goes down like a split finger fastball.
Number 23, Carlos Pena.
Right over the top, and he'll be able to tell his teammates about the great slider thrown by Wirtz. And of course, advanced scouts would more likely tell them that it's not a splitter, that it is a slider, and it's a good one.
And it's good to see it back where it was, because for the first time, Wirtz did not have a good slider in the game Wednesday at Yankee Stadium. It's really the first time he just didn't have it.
Which means one thing: he is human.
Yep.
And maybe just to take a page out of Mariano Rivera's book a few years ago, when Mr. Automatic gave up a couple of runs, blew a couple of saves, and he simply said, "I do have blood in my veins." You're not a robot when you're out there. It doesn't mean that you're always going to be perfect. Some guys make it look easy, but there are times that it's not working. Especially for a starting pitcher. You know, they pitch every 5th day. Sometimes you get an extra day. Very rarely do they pitch on short rest. CC Sabathia, which he did last year for the Brewers down the stretch that we talked about Wednesday in New York. But you can feel great for 4 or 5 starts, and all of a sudden you walk out there, you don't even know where the ball's going. And a great slider thrown by Wirtz to get a strikeout of another tough hitter. And that's the beauty of the game, too. You know, hitting's the same way. Feel a great swing of the bat, and then up to get against a good pitcher, and all of a sudden you can't buy a hit.
Pat Burrell knows what you're saying. He's 0 for 4, and the Rays have 13 hits. B.J. Upton is the only other Ray that does not have a hit, but Upton's walked a couple times. Fastball right down the middle, and Burrell takes it. It's 2-1.
Interleague play, the Philadelphia Phillies will be going to Tampa Bay to play the Rays. And of course, Pat Burrell, now a member of the Rays after playing the world champion Phillies, able to go to Philadelphia while the Rays are playing the Red Sox in a night game. Flew into Philly for a day game to accept his world championship ring.
And I don't blame him for wanting to be there.
Didn't miss the game when he got back to Boston.
Playing against the team in the World Series, then play for them the very next season. Not a whole lot of guys. Probably a little bit strange, but Rays made him a 2-year, $16 million, I believe, was what they gave Pat Burrow, and he took it.
Well, it says a lot about the Rays and how far they have come, and the fact that now players are wanting to go to their club, and they're building within a lot of homegrown players, but now the success they have had, there's nothing wrong with that pitch. Wow. They've had success, so now players, when they're free agents, they're courted by the Rays, they want to be there. They want to go to a club they know have a chance to win.
Number 26, Gabe Gross.
Giambi's name was thrown into the Rays rumors early in the offseason. He signed with the A's, but don't know how much the Rays pursued him, if they did at all.
Well, the one thing, the Rays are heavily left-handed. And that's why they have left-handed starters, which the A's will feature the next two against the Rays. Then see how that works. But again, Joe Manuel talking about how left-handed dominant they are hitting-wise, and how a left-handed pitcher can have success against them.
Gabe Gross is the hitter. We're in the top of the 8th inning. Two and one now to Gross. Gross is a homer, double, a walk, and a fly out to center field. Mariners are leading the Angels in Anaheim 8-3 in the 7th inning. Burrow, the runner at first, not being held on by Crosby. And there's a walk. Back-to-back walks by Michael Wirtz.
That's too bad Burrow didn't swing at the 3-2, which looked like it should have been called third strike. Now we'll see Michael Wirtz throw some extra pitches.
It always happens that way, doesn't it? There's a good breaking pitch from Wirtz. Navarro's RBI single was in the 3rd, and that's when Tampa Bay scored 5 times. Wirtz, long look in. Burrow at second, Gross at first. Navarro's going to need a new bat. The Rays have 13 hits in the game. The A's have 2.
The A's have not scored a run. They've already been shut out 3 times this year. Dallas Braden on the losing side of 2 of those.
Oh, 2 to Navarro. Skies one, shallow center. And that'll do it. So the 2 walks do no damage. Bottom of the 8th coming up 8-0 Rays. You by Fry's Electronics. Your best buys are always at Fry's, guaranteed. Ray Fosse, Glenn Kuiper back at the Oakland Coliseum, where the Rays lead 8-0. We reached the bottom of the 8th inning. The youngsters hanging around for the fireworks after the game. They're picking out their spots, Ray. Where are we going to sit on the field, like you said?
That's right.
Pick out your favorite player and go to his spot on the field. Jack Hanahan leading things off. Hanahan came in the game for Eric Chavez. Jack back in the big leagues. And the new pitcher for the Rays is Joe Nelson.
Well, the A's don't need another starter, their 5th starter, until what is this?
Hanahan drives one, gone. How about that, Ray?
That is outstanding. No shutout. Welcome back, Jack. Well, we've seen Jack Hanahan the last 2 years due to Eric Chavez able to only play 123 games. So Jack has gotten a chance to play, and tonight takes a fastball belt high, line drive, and it goes out. Great. That is great.
But Jack hit 9 last year for the A's.
Great swing. Took a first pitch strike just to kind of get an idea about Joe Nelson, and said, I've seen enough. Let's go. 367 right over, and Mike Gallego finally got somebody to walk by him, trot by him. Maybe it's the mustache.
Yep.
Yeah.
So Jack Hanahan leads off the bottom of the 8th with a homer. 5th home run for the A's this year. It's 8-1.
Jack came up in front and said, what's wrong with you guys? 4 home runs in 14 games?
It's not that hard.
Second pitch he sees, make it 5 for the A's now.
1-2 now to Mark Ellis.
Well, as I was saying, as Jack was putting a ball over the right field fence, the club will not need a starter, 5th starter, until
Mark Ellis is safe. He beat it. Well, Navarro had a long ways to run, and when he tracked it down, he made a pretty good play, just had too far to run.
Hard breaking ball, clanked off of Navarro's mitt, and Mark did react a little bit late, but able to hustle and a little slide in the first, stretch by Pena. And not enough time. That's probably a pass ball, right? Well, if the ball...
I'm not writing anything down. I just don't know.
I think he's already said wild pitch. Wild pitch with a strikeout.
34-year-old Joe Nelson. How about that? Basketball teammate of Jason Kidd.
Look who he's signed by.
They just called the ball. Shooty Babbitt grabbed him. And right now, Joe Nelson is giving up a home run. Struck out Ellis, but Ellis got aboard. And now a balk.
Oh, he deceived the runner.
He sure did.
8-1. A's are down. And he lifted his arm 1/4 inch.
So Ellis now at second. Crosby in the hole 0-2.
Starts each pitch with a split finger fastball that normally is between the index and middle finger. He goes between the middle finger and the ring finger. That's the story of the night for the A's. Jack Hanahan, just brought back from AAA. Goes into the meeting, the hitters meeting, and finds out about Joe Nelson. Figured it should he bat it. Now, is it when you're a scout and you sign a player that gets the big leagues, what's that, $1 million bonus?
Should get something.
We'll have to ask Shooty.
Yeah.
How much he got when Joe Nelson made the big leagues?
Even if Shooty doesn't know, he'll make it up.
Well, there's no doubt it's a feather in the cap of a scout.
Oh, man. Yeah.
Drafts or scouts a player, and that player is drafted, makes the big leagues. Eric Kubota and his staff are getting ready for the A's June draft, as all clubs are. But Eric, director of scouting for the A's, and always a good draft time for the Athletics as they put together the players they are going to draft, whether high school or college players. And June will be happening very soon. It'll be here before you know it.
Two and two to Bobby Crosby. Again, rolls over on that one. Russ Springer's been loosening up, so he's ready to go. Good battle here, Joe Nelson and Bobby Crosby. Joe Nelson last year was with the Florida Marlins, and he had a terrific season. 59 games, an ERA of 2, a 3-1 record. But for some reason, Marlins didn't offer him a contract, so he became a free agent, and the Rays grabbed him. And I think they were pretty happy that he was out there and they got him.
At least he gets to stay in Florida.
Yeah,
different part of the state. Bullpen very strong for the Rays last year, that helped them in the American League Championship.
Popped up just below on. Jack Hanahan, a home run to lead off the 8th inning. Another foul ball. Crosby went around on a pitch that was way outside. Yeah, that's the first out.
12th pitch, and you're right, through the splitter after Bobby had fouled off 6 with 2 strikes. Tried to hold up, but the bad hand went too far, and Tim Timmons, if he had had a jacket on, he probably would have asked for an appeal.
Yeah, but no jacket, that's a swing.
And that would tell you right there is a swing, as the bat went too much over the hitting zone.
Well, it's frustrating. You got a battle going with the pitcher, and he's throwing strikes, you know, pretty good pitches. And I think you just kind of figure he's going to throw one around the plate again, and then he throws one way off the plate. Ryan Sweeney has walked a couple times tonight. He's also grounded out to first. That's a base hit center field. Mark Ellis is going to get waved home. The throw is just a little bit late. Ellis slides in safely. Ryan Sweeney with an RBI single, and it's now 8-2.
Well, a strikeout wild pitch allows Marcellus to get to first base. Balks him to second, and then Ryan Sweeney with a base hit up the middle. But B.J. Upton showing why he's an outstanding center fielder. Played shallow, charged the ball. This ball just a little bit up the line. If it's on the plate, Marcellus is out.
Yep.
A very strong arm shown there by B.J. Upton.
Still only one out, and Orlando Cabrera.
Well, he had to go to the inside, and outstanding slide by Marcellus.
Orlando Cabrera 0 for 3 tonight. Trying to get rolling is Cabrera. The A's have finally got on the board here in the 8th with a pair of runs. That one drops low. And on the 3-1 pitch, Cabrera takes high, and it's a walk. So now it's going to be Nomar Garciaparra, and AP Howell, the very good left-hander, starts to warm up for the Rays. Garciaparra and then Holiday. Long meeting at the mound. The pitching coach is Jim Hickey. There's Jim.
Not ready. Designated hitter, number 1, Nomar Garciaparra.
So here's Nomar with Sweeney at second, Cabrera at first. A's trying to make a game of it. First pitch is outside. Garciaparra a single, a strikeout, and a ground out so far. Swing and a miss.
They got a 3-run home run here, and that makes it 8-5. You get 4 in the 9th.
At least you're close. Check swing. Shoots right over the Rays dugout.
Nomar has one of the A's now 5 home runs. Check swing. This ball foul, and we like to see the ball end up in the seats on a check swing and not a ball that goes out in play. An easy play for the defender.
Drive to right. Gabe Gross goes back. Spins around. He's got it. Sweeney will go to third, and that's the second out. So Matt Holliday will hit with 2 on and 2 out.
Now batting, left fielder, number 5, Matt Holliday.
We may have a pitching change. Joe Madden is, in fact we are. Jim Hickey already visited, so the second visit. Point to the bullpen. The lefty Howell is coming in to face Matt Holliday. 2 on 2 out here in the 8th. which would certainly get them back in this game. See if it comes from Matt Holliday. Sweeney is at third and Cabrera is at first. With 2 outs here in the 8th, and J.P. Howell takes over. Howell, a very good left-handed reliever. One of the reasons he's in there, right-handers are just 4 for 22 against him so far this year. Howell's first pitch is inside.
Well, A.P. Howell is a great example of what happens to a pitcher when he gets in postseason. And 3 different, between the Division Series, League Championship, World Series. 3 games, 6 games, 3 games, 12 appearances. Total of 11 innings. Combine that with 89 innings, 89 and a third, so he's over 100 innings out of the bullpen for the Rays. And that's a concern for Jim Hickey and Joe Madden. Of course, the way he did pitch and was successful.
He's going to get out of the jam here as Holliday grounds out. A's get a pair in the 8th. So we're headed to the 9th. It's 8-2 Tampa Bay. Jack Hanahan got the A's on the board in the bottom of the 8th with a solo home run. Jack just called up today from AAA. Russ Springer, the new pitcher for the Athletics, 4th pitcher of the night for them.
What an inning for Russ Springer. 7th inning, Yankee Stadium on Wednesday. That was his 7th appearance. This obviously his 8th. Still without a run given up. He had a bases loaded, nobody out, and got out of the jam. Strikeout, jam to third base, and a pop up by Derek Jeter to end it. And he said after the game, it took him about the 3rd hitter to finally realize where his arm slot is supposed to be on throwing his pitches. Everything was up and away. But that's the sign of a veteran, a guy who can figure it out on the mound, make an adjustment. And in the case of Russ Springer in a tie game, able to make that adjustment and get 3 outs with the bases loaded and nobody out.
2-1 to Akinura Iwamura. And now 2-2. He'll be followed by Jason Bartlett and then B.J. Upton. Mariners with an 8-3 lead in the 9th inning over the Angels down in Anaheim. Shot to center. Sweeney's there, 1 out. The Rangers won their game 5-4 earlier.
Number 8, Jason Bartlett.
So Jason Bartlett steps in, and he is 4 for 4.
Approaching the 300 or the 400 mark in 397.
So you say, oh man, he's never had a 5-hit game. Oh yes, he has. 2006 against the Royals when he was with the Twins, he did it. So this is no biggie for Jason Bartlett. He's been there before.
Well, as his infield hits tonight have shown, speed helps when you're trying to hit for an average. Hitting 9th in this lineup. 4 for 4, 4 singles, 3 not made it out of the infield. The last one did. 4 line drives in the paper tomorrow, at least 4. Let's see what happens in this at bat.
Swing and a miss on a slider off the plate.
Like those pitchers, and Russ Springer is one of them that just has a nice, easy delivery, and all of a sudden the ball's on you so quickly. And from the hitter standpoint, it's tough to time somebody like that. See a pitcher that really maxes out with his effort. Josh Outman kind of with every pitch throws like he's throwing 100 miles an hour. Springer just easy, and then bam, there it is. Good slider.
Cust to his left, and he makes the catch. So Jason Bartlett 4 for 5 on the evening.
Number 2, B.J. Upton.
And B.J. Upton will step in looking for his first hit. Upton has a couple of walks, but he has struck out twice and hit into a 4-6-3 double play. Off the end of the bat. Easy play for Mark Ellis. And that will do it. Russ Springer, a very tidy 3-up, 3-down inning. Bottom of the 9th coming up. Cust, Suzuki, Hanahan. A's trail by 6.
at Buffalo Wild Wings in Dublin. And we'll sign autographs. 1 hour following the game at Buffalo Wild Wings, located at 3712 Dublin Boulevard. That's in Dublin, California. 3712 Dublin Boulevard in Dublin. And you know where that is, and that's a good chance to meet and visit with Brad Ziegler, the A's closer. They tell you about his 39 consecutive scoreless innings to start his major league career. That is an ongoing record, and just blew it out of the water as far as the record. And talk about his WBC appearance, the lone representative from the Athletics of WBC. And he'll probably also tell you what the A's need to do offensively to score some runs. And if he could do that, I'm going to go ask him for his autograph.
I'm going to Dublin. Jack Cuss leading it off. New pitcher for the Rays, Lance Cormier. Seventh appearance for Cormier. And it's quickly 0-2. Another free agent signing for the bullpen was Lance Cormier. Jack Cuss, a single and a pair of flyouts to center field. He's had just 2 hits through the first 7 innings, but a couple hits in the 8th, including the Jack Hanahan home run. Swing and a miss, struck him out on a pitch right on the outside corner. So good location by Lance Cormier, and Cuss swings and misses. So that's the first out here in the bottom of the 9th. Remember, radio only tomorrow.
Number 8.
Dallas Braden and Matt Garza, the pitching matchup.
That's the Matt Holliday jersey, so come out and get a chance to get one of the A's left fielder's jerseys. Number 5. These kids already have one. Saw them in spring training, so they were way ahead of the game. Sure, they were wearing Rockies jerseys last year, the last 5 years. Or not 5, because they're not that old. But they will definitely be out here wearing their father's jersey proudly.
Suzuki takes a high strike, 1-1. It's a final now in Anaheim. Seattle 8 and the Angels 3.
101 losses last year and first place in the division this year.
Yeah, they're playing good baseball. The Mariners had 17 hits tonight. Kurt Suzuki's got his first hit. So that win by the Mariners puts their record at 11-6. And the Angels dropped to 6-10.
Now batting third baseman, number 22, Jack Hanahan.
Seattle's also 6-2 on the road. Of course, they came here to Oakland and swept the A's at the Coliseum. Here's Hanahan. He takes a strike at the knees from Cormier. Hanahan's home run to right field in the 8th. Only one other game still being played, and it's extra innings down in San Diego between the Padres and the Pittsburgh Pirates. 3-3 game in the 10th. Two and 2 to Hanahan with Mark Ellis waiting in the on-deck circle. Bounce slowly to first. Pena goes to second, and it hits the runner, and everybody's safe. It's a fielder's choice and an error on Pena, the Gold Glover.
But it's about the only play Carlos had. The ball hit softly, and I don't know if his pitcher would have been able to get to first to cover. Carlos tried to get the angle, which he did, but as he was throwing on the move, ball right into the back of Kurt Suzuki. And that is a rare error for the Gold Glove first baseman. But a very tough play, because I don't know if he had gotten Hanahan having his pitcher cover first base.
He probably could have taken a little more time and made sure of a good throw to second. I think he had enough time. Ellis drives him to right. Gabe Gross, who's been fairly busy. That's 2 outs. So we're going to get a pinch hitter for Bobby Crosby. It's going to be Travis Buck.
Batting for Crosby, number 6, Travis Buck.
I'm sure Bob Guerin wants to get Travis Buck in the bat. After all, he faced Mariano Rivera in New York the other night.
Yeah, thanks a lot. Huh?
Great spring for Travis. It's kind of unfortunate that he's not been able to continue that during the season, but he's not been playing either. So that's a tough situation he's been put in. There's Holiday, Sweeney, Cust playing every day in the outfield. Occasionally Rajay Davis.
Buck with 4 hits and 20 at bats so far. Already won a game against the Red Sox in extra innings with an infield hit. Oh, 2 the count to Buck. Had a good spring. 16 RBIs for Travis Buck. Good looking batting gloves for Travis Buck. Those babies just came out of the bag, I think.
Unlimited.
I was going to say, big leaguers will go through some batting gloves. Man.
And to think at one time, never existed.
Yeah.
Steve Vucinich can do it all. He can bring out some good ones.
Travis Buck swings and misses, and that's going to do it for this one. It was all Rays right from the start. So game 1 of this series goes to Tampa Bay. The Rays win it 8-2 over the Athletics. So the A's have now lost 5 in a row, and they are 5-10 after tonight's loss. Now, don't